The stupidest thing I ever did was follow Alexander. Not because he was a bad commander, not because he was reckless, not because he was wrong, because he made impossible things look possible. And once a man sees that, he starts doing impossible things himself. That is dangerous. Very dangerous. We were called the companions, the king's cavalry, his friends, his brothers in arms. At least that was the idea. In truth, we were nobles, sons of nobles, men raised to fight, men raised to ride, men raised to believe we were better than everyone else. Most of us did. Alexander certainly did. The difference was, he expected more from himself than he expected from us. That made following him easier, and harder. We stood overlooking the Granicus. The Persians occupied the opposite bank. Good position, strong position, the sort of position sensible men avoid attacking. Parmenion certainly thought so. Parmenion always preferred surviving, a useful quality in a general. He advised waiting, resting, crossing later, finding a better opportunity. Reasonable advice, experienced advice, excellent advice. Alexander ignored it. People always ask why. Why attack immediately? Why cross a river under enemy cavalry? Why risk everything? Years later, men would invent grand explanations. Genius, destiny, divine inspiration. Perhaps. Or perhaps Alexander simply understood something. The longer you wait, the larger fear becomes. The Persians expected caution, expected hesitation, expected calculation. Instead, they got Alexander. The command spread down the line. Mount, prepare, advance. I remember looking at the river, then looking at Alexander, then looking back at the river. The river seemed like the more reasonable choice. At least rivers do not deliberately seek danger. Cold. That is what I remember most. Cold water splashing against my legs. Mud beneath the horse. The current pulling sideways. Arrows overhead. Men shouting. The sort of moment where every instinct screams, turn around, go home, find a farm, marry someone sensible, raise goats, anything but this. Yet we kept moving, because Alexander kept moving. Then everything accelerated. The river disappeared. The bank disappeared. Thought disappeared. Only movement remained. Forward, forward, forward. I saw Persians everywhere. Bright armor, beautiful horses, noblemen from powerful families, some of the finest cavalry in the empire, and directly ahead of them, Alexander. Of course. Always Alexander. Kings are not supposed to fight like this. They are supposed to survive, command, observe, direct. Alexander disagreed. Violently. He spotted the strongest Persian concentration and headed straight for it. I remember shouting. Not words, just noise. The kind men make when a friend is doing something incredibly brave and incredibly stupid at the same time. The two groups hit each other. Everything vanished beneath dust. I lost sight of Alexander immediately, then found him again, then lost him, then found him. His helmet flashed in sunlight, his spear shattered, his horse pushed forward. Every Persian noble suddenly wanted the same prize. The king. Kill Alexander. Become immortal. A Persian noble charged. Alexander killed him. Another appeared, then another. The fighting narrowed. It was not a battle anymore. It was a duel, surrounded by thousands of spectators carrying weapons. I was trying to reach him. Others were too. The Persians were trying harder, and they were closer. Then it happened. The moment. The one everyone remembers. The one historians write about. The one I still see in dreams. A Persian commander came from Alexander's side. His sword rose. High. Very high. Then came down. Alexander's helmet split. Bronze flew. The crest shattered. For one terrible heartbeat, I thought he was dead. Everyone did. Have you ever noticed how time behaves strangely around death? 1 second becomes an hour becomes a second. I saw Alexander's head snap sideways. I saw another Persian rider moving toward him. I saw a third. Too many. Far too many. And I knew I was too far away. Then someone else arrived. Clitus. Clitus the Black. A veteran, friend of the king, one of Philip's old officers. He crashed into the Persian attacker like a thunderbolt. The Persian's arm disappeared. Literally. Gone. Sword, arm, everything. The man fell. Alexander lived. History continued. That was when I understood something. Alexander was not invincible, not even close. He bled. He made mistakes. He took risks no sensible commander would take. One sword stroke, one heartbeat, one moment, and everything would have ended. The Persians broke, slowly at first, then all at once. The riverbank became ours. The invasion survived. Asia lay open, and the king remained alive, though barely. The fighting ended slowly, not with a trumpet, not with a signal. Just one side realizing the other side would not break. The Persian cavalry fled first. Then the field became strangely quiet. Not silent, never silent. Battles leave too many wounded men behind for silence. We rode across the riverbank, past broken shields, past dead horses, past men whose names I would never know. Then I saw them. At first I thought they were another Persian unit. They were still standing, still holding formation, still gripping their spears. But as we drew closer, I noticed something strange. The shields, the helmets, the language. Greek. They were Greeks. Not Macedonians, not Persians. Greeks. Mercenaries. Men hired by Persia. One of our veterans spat into the dirt. Traitors. Others nodded. The word spread. Traitors, traitors, traitors. I was not sure. The men standing across from us did not look like traitors. They looked exhausted, hungry, terrified. Exactly like soldiers. Exactly like us. A gray-haired mercenary met my eyes for a moment. Neither of us spoke. Neither of us moved. I remember wondering, how does a Greek become the enemy of Greece? Years later, I would realize that was the wrong question. The better question was, who gets to decide what Greece is? At the time, I had no answer, and I doubt the men standing across from me did either. That night we sat around the fire, exhausted, dirty, alive. Alexander moved through the camp speaking with wounded soldiers. Not because he had to, because he genuinely cared. That was another strange thing about him. He wanted glory, more than anyone I have ever known. Yet he also remembered names, faces, stories. Men followed him because of victories. They loved him for other reasons. Later, I saw the damaged helmet, split, scarred, ruined. A reminder. The king laughed when someone mentioned it. Laughed, as if nearly dying was amusing, as if the gods had merely tapped him on the shoulder. I remember staring at him, wondering whether courage and madness were simply different names for the same thing. I still do not know. The Persians had lost, but they were not defeated. Not really. Not yet. We had won a battle, nothing more. The empire still stood. The great king still ruled. The richest cities in the world still lay ahead. And somewhere far to the east, a man named Darius was learning our king's name, Alexander. The Persians had tried to kill him at the river. They had come closer than anyone realized. But now the young king was alive, victorious, hungry, and moving deeper into Asia, toward cities he had never seen, toward enemies he had never met, toward a king he had never faced. The real war was only beginning. But first, there were the prisoners, the Greeks who had fought for Persia, the men we called traitors, the men who called themselves soldiers. And one of them would tell a very different story about this day.